Hello, hello. We are live.
Hello, everybody.
Yep. As everyone knows, I am Fran the Savage, the Savage Ladies of Metal. And today we have with us, we got Charlie from Aftermath, Chicago's own. How
How's
are you,
everybody
man?
doing? Thanks for having us on Savage Ladies of Metal, Fran. It's a pleasure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's definitely an honor to have you here, man.
Well, thanks for the
We were having some funny conversations before we went live, and definitely would love to get into that, including the CD collection. But for those who don't know who you are, would you like to introduce yourself officially?
Yeah, I'm Charlie. As you can see on the screen, Kyriakos. Charlie's my middle name, but I play in Aftermath. I sing in Aftermath. We're a Chicago band that was formed in '85 on one of the first wave of thrash metal crossover, hardcore punk and metal. And then we broke up in '96. We released one debut album back then, but we reunited in 2015 for some festivals, and one in Germany especially called Headbangers Open Air. And since we came back in 2015, we released already our second album called There Is Something Wrong, and we're about to release our brand new our third album. It's like a trilogy called No Time to Waste.
You know what? And that's good. I mean, you guys are coming back like hard, like we're back, bitches, and that's awesome. And we're going to talk about those details. Now, you do have a few other members in the band who are not with you. You want to give them a shout out?
Yeah. No, well, I'm keeping them unknown. No, I'm joking. It's Steve Sacco on lead guitar, Ray Schmidt on drums, and George Langus on bass. And me, Ray, and Steve started the band back in '85. George is the newest addition, but he played on the second album that we released in 2019.
All right. And how did you and Steve meet?
We met in Steinmetz High School, like in the gymnasium, like we had gym together. And he remember, but I don't remember him that much then, because we really met in the parking lot of junior college, like the summer after the fall after we graduated high school. But when we met in the parking lot, he was a familiar face in the parking lot. So I go, hey, what's up? And then he goes, oh, I remember you. He goes, you're the guy. I never wore the official gym shirt, the Steinmetz High School shirt. I always wore a Rock Band shirt, with the shorts. You had to wear the shorts. And that's how he remembered. He goes, you're the guy that never wore the shirt. And then we took a music class together. Just because he was there, I switched one of my classes just so I could be with somebody I know. And then we took a guitar class in junior college. And that's how we became friends. And slowly we started hanging out. And then he was already a professional musician because he played in a wedding band that was booked years ahead. A 3-piece wedding band that their thing is they literally had to know the top hits every week when all the top 10 chart came out. Like he had to learn all the songs. That's hard, no matter what style. And he was a guitar teacher at a place called Tunes and Taps. And I took lessons from him too, but I quit after a while because even though he was my age, he was more mature feeling as a teacher, and he wanted me to learn the Mel Bay, the Little Lamb had basic, and I go, man, I want you to teach me songs right away. He goes, no, you got to learn the basics. So I quit, and then we formed the band like during actually October 1985. That's the exact. That's the month we formed the band, and Ray we knew through. My brother actually knew him through his school, and he was known as an amazing drummer. So right away, I already knew about Ray, and I had played with some other guys, some covers with him, just for but we never named it. And then we got Ray because we knew how great he was,
Right.
Reputation.
And when did George come along?
George came along, like in when we reunited in 2015. We actually had our original bass player, which was he was like a skinhead back then. He still is, like a punk rocker. And the problem was the band, the second phase of the band, back when we were together in the beginning, we turned into a technical progressive thrash band, which it's kind of harder to play than the punk rock that we played in the beginning,
Yeah, it's a lot more intense, yeah.
Yeah, it was like night and day because we went from straight up hardcore, like Rain and Blood fast, like everything super fast thrash metal, hardcore. And then the second demo we released back then, right away, we turned into a progressive thrash, and it was because it was a new genre. At that time, there wasn't any progressive bands doing thrash. It was still like the 80s,
Right.
And well, anyways, to cut the story short, it was all of us. But then he didn't work out, and then we had this other bass player, Eric Alvarez, and he did the a festival with us in Germany, and he did a festival here in Chicago, Ragnarocker, and shows at Reggie's. But after we got back from Germany, he had to go back to Vegas. That's where he lived, and he died, last year, unfortunately, And he was really known in the scene because he was in a band called Demented Ted back in the day, and he played with a lot of other bands. So
Yeah.
George, my brother found him in school, my brother was waiting for his daughter, and George was waiting for his kid, and he had a rock shirt on, so they started talking, and he knew me because we met at a Radiohead concert one time, because I knew his cousins. See, this is kind of getting confusing because it's a crazy story. It almost seems like fate brought him to us because the story, and it goes longer than that. Just a weird coincidence. Why would he ask him? How would they meet when they really weren't going to meet? And how did he fit in perfectly? Is long, and I won't bore people with it. But let's just say it was like a cool twist of fate that we found him.
I like that.
Because we have a lot of backup vocals now too, and now with the new album, because the choruses are important because it's almost like we want people the choruses and everything have meaning of what's going on in society, like how the world seems inverted, how things aren't making sense, like how everything's just like a mess, right? Everywhere the world's fucked up and everything, and it's kind of like got to know your enemy because they're dividing the people, and
you really can't even know who your enemy is because a lot of times it's your own best friend now.
Yeah.
You need to watch your ass at all times now. It's not just looking over your shoulder. It's walking in a full 360 at this point, Yeah,
because society's come down to like you can't trust people anymore. And and people argue and they ignore facts. So it's all like a ball of confusion on earth. But we're going down from the who controls the people, you know what I mean? Like who controls the politicians, because everything we're told, like I don't know if you ever heard the expression, everything you're told is a lie, right? It truly is. Once you research conspiracies and why they call them conspiracies, where the word even came from, like, the word conspiracy came from after John F. Kennedy was shot, when the people were going to be questioning it. The CIA literally came up with the word conspiracy theory to deflect questions. So they go, so they can laugh at somebody. That's just a conspiracy.
Yeah, to make them look like they're a nut job because they're actually open and seeing what is going on and reading between the lines, and they're questioning that shit. No, now it's a conspiracy.
Exactly.
You're questioning too much. You're supposed to shut your mouth the whole time.
Exactly.
I'm the exact type. I will not bow down. If I see some fucked up shit, you can say I'm a conspiracy theorist all you want. I see what's really happening. You can be told, but I'm looking,
That's a compliment, conspiracy theorist. Because first of all, I see videos on YouTube, and I'm not even signed in, just like where, anything pops up. No, there's no algorithm that'll take you there. And so that means they're out in public. The other day, top 20 conspiracies that have become reality now. Now we know they're true. And I'm thinking, those 20 ones that they mentioned, some of those, man, they should have been a revolution of when it was happening. Now that it's true, nobody can, it gets, flipped over to another funny video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Tuskegee syphilis study, when they were experimenting on poor people up there and giving them syphilis to see how they die, literally killing people. And it was going on for 40 years, and now that's on the list of like, we know that happened. Now we acknowledge it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because so much time has lapsed, and I don't know I forgot what it's called, but so much time has lapsed, and they can finally tell the truth about shit. It's like, we already know, we're over it.
The funny thing is, not only time has lapsed, the people that were mainly involved are all dead on all of these.
Yeah, that too. There's nobody to talk.
Yeah, there's nobody to talk. I mean, it's like
if they were alive, I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to say we'd have a certain female that would make sure they would disappear.
I mean,
I'm not going to.
But plus, all it takes, even if you look at that and you don't know nothing about that, you go, whoa, all these 20 things that happened and they denied it. Do you think they stop now? So that right there should open your mind. Go, let me see what's really going on, because the division of people is a big thing. They want to make us all, now they're making it seem like everybody's a racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's back again. Like
everything's bad.
History is repeating itself. The government will always somehow weasel history back and turn it and make the people feel like they're the ones who started it. They're the ones, it's some shady shit going on. And it always comes back down to the government.
Yeah, very shady. And they use, like going back, like you said, they use the same tactics, like problem, reaction, solution, Like
Yeah.
they create a problem that doesn't exist because they already have a solution just to get you to what they want, you know?
Right.
And it's like it's bad. But I mean, the thing is, I think what you really got to do after researching all this conspiracy is like you really got to take care of the people around you, and you just got to do good and be good. You got to be honest. You got to like just lying's a big problem. You know, you just got to be an honest, good person.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Just even if it's the terrible truth, at least tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, keeping up with your lies will be a pain in the ass, and it hurts more later when you find out you lied to than if you were told the truth in the beginning. You know, I'd rather be an honest asshole than a lying piece of shit.
And the pain in the ass to keep it. I mean, that's a hard thing to remember lies. You know what I mean? It's hard enough to remember the truth the more you live. But, you know, but anyways, that's kind of like on our message, we're just saying you to defeat, like to know the enemy exists. Let's say it's almost like the Wizard of Oz. Just know it's not what they're telling you on TV. So ignore that stuff. And that's why be good and do good.
Right.
They want, you know, like how they go like Satan runs earth or whatever, you know, like down here is successful. Just, it seems like the temptation to do bad is so strong, you know, just bad stuff for yourself, eat bad food, you know, just get addictions after addictions, you know, and it's not only the drug pushers on the street corners, right? It's the pharmaceuticals that, like with the opiates, have addicted millions of people, and the doctors were passing them out like candy. You know what I
mean? Oh yeah. The doctors don't even, they just say, what they want to know your symptoms so they can know, okay, what can we push on you? It's they're all tied in. It's some shit.
Yeah, because the medical system's all corrupt because
and they help towards, you know, they help people take the path towards addiction by doing that instead of actually taking the time out to talk to their patient like they used to do and actually try to think of healthier and better ways that, you know, without having to push 20 different kinds of pills down your throat where the reaction is worse than the symptom itself.
Well, there you go. I mean, you said it better than I could say it. That's exactly what I was going to say. And that wasn't always like that. Like you said, in the old days, the doctor cared about the patient. And it's funny, though. The funny thing about doctors, because, you know, you get older parents, you take them to the doctor. Man, the waiting in the waiting room is one thing. You wait and wait. Then they put you in the other room, you wait. And when the doctor always comes in, he makes like a special appearance with his little white jacket, like he's a you know, like he's some god. And then you barely get to ask a question because, you know, parents, you want to find out. And then it's so quick. It's just like the whole system is annoying to me. You know what I mean? Like the wait alone.
And it's getting worse. It's getting a lot worse.
Yeah,
every new generation is worse.
Yeah. And the waiting though alone is just like they don't care about your time. Like it doesn't matter what, you know, we told you the appointment's at 3:00 because I went to the dentist.
And they'll have 5 other people for the same time also.
Yeah. The reason I'm making, because I went to the dentist a bunch of times recently, my dentist, and then every time I get there right on time, thinking I'm rushing there, I'm sitting in the lobby for like a half hour. So I go, why do I even rush? You know what I mean? But anyways, if I was a comedian, I'd make a good like stand-up routine about that, you know, because I can make it funny, but you know what I mean? We
can go all night with this, but I'm all for that. That's something we can do off camera. We can have that conversation.
Yeah.
But coming back though, with the band Aftermath. So how did you come up with the name?
Man,
what's the story behind that?
The name, I came up with it. I was working at O'Hare Airport for a company called Andy Frame. Basically, TSA took over after that. Like for United Airlines. Well, I was my job either take people from the planes with wheelchairs was one of the jobs we had, and you know, take them to the next flight or out to the curb, or sit in the scans, you know, people with the scan machines, you know. And I was looking at the X-ray, you know, when they put their stuff on the whatever they call it, and instead of that, I was just writing names of bands that I wanted to have a band, you know. And I came up with a list of about 100 names, you know. And back then, if you weren't paying attention, you know, United would come through and they put a gun or a bomb in a suitcase, but if you
so that would have been your fault. Yeah.
If you missed it, it was pre 9/11, so they didn't like do anything bad. They just took you off the X-ray machine and they made you do the wheelchairs or whatever, you know.
Right.
Even though those were great because people tipped, and so I came up with a whole list of names. So I brought it to Steve and Ray, and they read it all off, and they all liked Aftermath. Aftermath I liked too, but there was other names I liked as well. So we picked that name, and I wanted to make sure there was no other Aftermath in the world. You know what I mean? So as far as I know, the name was clear. I know there was a Rolling Stones record. Barely knew it because I was Rolling Stones. You know, they're the older generation. Even though I love them now, but back then I was into the stuff that are out, that are at our age, like, and so that was a mistake because now Dr. Dre sued. He came out with a label.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
There was an incident with Dr. Dre quite a few years ago with the name Aftermath. He tried to buy it, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I wanted to have such a name that only belonged to us, that there weren't another one in another city, that we trademarked it, which nobody did. I didn't realize that barely, even big bands barely ever literally go to the office and get a real trademark. So we got it, and we had some lawyer help us that was here, lawyers for the creative arts in Chicago that I called up out of nowhere when we got some record deal back then, and we didn't have a lawyer, so he was kind of a free lawyer to the creative arts from the city, some program. So he ended up staying with us for a long time after that. But this guy Tim Kelly, and so we did the trademark, and then out of nowhere, because I had the trademark when Dre left Death Row, and he was starting his new label. It was a secret in the industry, so word was getting around Dre starting a new label, right? So I worked at a place called Baker and Taylor, and so did Steve, which was a one-stop, a distributor. So you could get every label at Baker and Taylor. Like you could order from Warner Brothers, from A&M, from Roadrunner, whatever. So it was really there for independent stores, instead of going to all the a million places, we
20 different locations just to find like three albums from three different
records. They called it a one-stop, which was great for me because a lot of my CDs I got from there. But so anyways, one day out of nowhere, Pete Paterno calls me. I remember call waiting. I was on the other phone with my girlfriend, and I used to start at 2 PM. And then he goes, "Hey, Dre's starting a no, he didn't say Dre. He goes, there's a small R&B label starting, and we see you have the trademark, so we want to give you $5,000, but this is a real small label, so nobody will hear of it. We're just going to give it to you because we're just being nice." That's how he made it seem. And I go, and he said his name. See, when he said his name, he didn't know I knew who he was. He didn't think I'd know. I go, "What was your name again?" He goes, "Pete Paterno." I go, "Aren't you Metallica's lawyer?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Why are you calling for a small R&B label then?" I thought, why would this gigantic attorney be calling him about some small label? So then I basically took him, like it must have been a conference call because they left it to last minute, this problem, right? Because Dre was putting out his big release at the end of the year, and this was in August. So I basically started talking to him about music. You could tell because they didn't want to hang up on me, and it was a conference call. And imagine these Pete Paterno probably makes $1 million an hour, on these things.
Right.
So, I don't know, maybe they want me to belong. I started talking to them about different styles of music. I started talking to them about German krautrock, and you could tell they wanted to shut up, dude. What is he talking about? And then right when I was done talking about all the things I was talking about musically, different genres, what kind of music they like, I go, well, I got to go now because I got to go to work. And I go, you could talk to my brother from now on. So then my brother, who was in law school then, started talking to him. I never talked to him again. And the money kept getting more. Tell him we'll give him $100,000. Tell him we'll give him this. After we found out. But then secretly, we put together, we went and got a lawyer because my brother is a lawyer now, but then he was in law school.
Right.
And we surprised him with a preliminary injunction to stop him using the name. And then it was a 3-day court case downtown, federal court. And as a matter of fact, that case right now is some kind of trade. Some girls we ran into that were studying copyright laws. They said they studied the case, which is funny, because the judge's outcome literally was that we could both coexist, because they're rap and it's a rap label and we're a metal band, and at that time is when rap and metal were getting combined, with Korn and Limp Bizkit. That was around the time, like in the early '90s. But they were basically, I think they claimed that if we made them change the name, they'd lose millions, like $5 million, because they had it all set up. So, but we have a trademark. We got it from the government. I mean, there can't be a Led Zeppelin label, rap label, or
right. That's jacked up. No, that's fucked up. I would have taken, I would have taken that back. I would have been like, we're going back to court.
Well, we could have, we could have taken him to a regular because this was a preliminary injunction. It was in court, but then you could go to the next level.
Right. You can appeal it too. Yeah.
We couldn't afford it because the lawyers that we got for this did it pro bono, like if they made a thing, and they didn't know nothing about trademark law.
And those are almost non-existent too.
Yeah, we just got lucky. We got these guys to even go to court with to do. But my brother was helping him because he was like, again, too bad it wasn't the time where he actually is a lawyer. He would have killed him in court, Yeah. And it's funny because when the court was over, this the boss, because every day they kept flying out more people from Los Angeles to Chicago because they didn't think it was going to be a big deal. They thought they were just going to win right away, So by the third day, King is his last name. The head guy at the law firm that Peter Paterno works at actually wanted my brother. They offered him when you get out of law school, move to California. They gave him, called me up right away. They wanted to offer him a job at the law firm, because he was so good in court, So, but they said we could coexist. But what happened then? I got so angry that we broke up. I go, I'm not going to use the name, man. Fuck it, And then I formed another band called Mother God Movie Star, basically the same guys in Aftermath, but we added a female and a DJ, and it was like half rock, half electronic, not techno, but electronic. Like the album began with a rock,
Right.
and as the songs went along, it got more electronic, and it got full electronic at the end. And the DJs at the end were taking parts of the songs above on the CD and remixing them, so it was a pretty well listen. There's a whole listen, and we were signed to Interscope because we met Jimmy Iovine, the head of Interscope, and
Right.
thought Aftermath was a cool underground band, and he wanted to sign Aftermath to Interscope. He goes, "See, I'm going to give you guys a deal. Just like I gave Marilyn Manson. I want you guys to break your area, and then we're going to put the full machine of Interscope and promote everything." And what we did just to fuck with him, when they signed us thinking it was Aftermath, we gave him a Mother God Movie Star thing that wasn't metal or nothing. It was like crazy. It was wild. So it was almost like, and we got a regular deal. We toured with it with the Jenna Torturers, all industrial band, and
Right.
we released one album on Interscope, and we made a video that cost $50,000, real video down in Texas. So in a weird way, if I said the story better, it's almost like funny in a way how they came to us after that, and then we ended up signing to that label, thinking they were getting a metal band called Aftermath that already had an underground following, so they were going to take it to the next level, with a major label album. But we gave them wholly experimental with a name called Mother God Movie Star. Almost like, fuck you, man. You guys,
Right.
one of your guys, because Dre was on Interscope, so one of the guys that are one of the big artists on your label stole our name for his record company, and you guys are part of it. So this is what you get then,
Right. Yeah, I get that. So yeah, that's checked. That's just messed up how you own the copyright and.
Well, it goes to show you. I mean, literally, we have the copyright, and then they tell us we could coexist. It's almost like, why do we even get it then? You know what I mean? What's the point?
But if it was the other way around, you would be smashed.
No.
Because money talks. Just saying.
Well, think about it. Well, Dre also, the judge, his name was Judge Norgal. You look up his history. He was in trouble once for taking a bribe. And I'm sure Dre's people will go, instead of losing $5 million, let's give the judge $1 million, right? Because one of the clerks did tell us the judge has two opinions written, like one for me, for the band, the trademark, and one for Dre, So why were there two opinions written? Anyways, it could have went either way. One clerk of his told us that when we were talking to a court that day, when she goes, well, I'm not supposed to tell you, but there's two opinions written, But, well, you know what I would have done though? Like with that, I wouldn't have, what anybody would have done. You had him in the corner. So no matter what, he would have had, if they really were going to lose $5 million. And, I would have said 3 million and you could have the name, right? Let's say something like that, So I don't know if I would have done that. I probably would have told him, don't use the name, But if you give that, I could have been $1 million. But I also annoyed the judge on the stand because he kept giving me weird questions. The Paterno's people, the Dre's lawyers, and I wouldn't answer them, if I thought they were stupid. And the judge kept going, you got to answer the question. So some people think that I know, well, because he took a recess because of me. He goes, his gavel goes, we're taking a recess because of him. And he pointed at me with anger. So maybe he just got angry at me. Maybe that's who knows? I mean, but either way, I shouldn't have lost is what I'm saying. Like you said, I got the trademark. What's the point?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and plus it's a
fucked up. But like I said, money talks,
Well, like you said, also it's like money talks because a big corporation dealing with That's funny, and plus you're pretty aware of like how you talked about the conspiracy thing and the government. It's cool that you're one of those people that do question stuff. I get the,
absolutely.
And if you find
absolutely,
the way
I listen to everything. I listen, pay attention, and I look for details. I see things 10 different directions and who can get intertwined somehow in the back end. I see shit many different ways.
in a way, I can picture you as a female superhero for justice. With your
Well,
voice
thank you.
that sounds so captivating, and then
Did
the
you
way
say my
you
voice sounds captivating? That's awesome. Thank you.
well, like I could, like I told you earlier, like I could picture you like on the radio or like for ads, like with that cool voice. I remember there was there was one movie that Burt Reynolds was back in the day. I remember, or even the Warriors. You know how the Warriors had the lady, hey, you know, they only showed their mouth and her voice, and I think
Yeah.
when one of those. There's a few female voices stuck in my head throughout the years through movies, and
So that you're never gonna forget mine. Now you can be like, I actually talked to somebody who sounds like that, and that's not a voiceover.
yeah, I think it was Sharky's Machine. Have you ever seen that?
What is it?
Sharky's Machine.
No.
I think it was a Burt Reynolds movie, and it was a famous actress that was her voice that was like a sex symbol kind of actress. Sharky. Just look up Sharky's Machine, and that's the one.
I'm gonna write this down. Hold on a minute. You said Sharky's Machine, right?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds movie.
Sharky's Machine.
You know, Rachel.
That's too funny.
Yeah, you'll hear it.
I hear I get a lot of compliments about my voice. A lot of people are just like, you sound like that. Yeah.
No, you can use it for money. I mean, you can make.
You know what? I'm all game. I have no idea who to reach out to, but if you know anyone who wants this voice on radio,
well, I know
voiceovers, whatever.
When we were recording at CRC, Chicago Recording Company downtown, in the same studios was little studios where they were just for commercials. And one day we met Michael Jordan's mom because, you know, you go out in the hallway and you sit in the couch, you know, when you're recording, just chilling. And she was there to do a commercial. It was like I guess it's the Leo Burnett or whatever is the big ad commercial agency in the countries in Chicago. And that's all voiceovers. As a matter of fact, one of the guys, Eric is his name. He's works on my brother on the management side. He went to that. Maybe he could hook you up.
You know what? Let's talk about that after the interview.
Yeah, because he went.
Let's make this about you. I want to keep this about you, Charlie. I really appreciate you doing this. That's awesome. Thank you. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about you.
In my head naturally, so I couldn't stop it. You know what I mean?
You know, no, I got the same effect. You know, you go down one path when you're talking, and it's like swirl.
Well, that's kind of cool about conversations. You know what I mean? Because they're not like one thing. It could take you anywhere. You know, whatever sparks the interest at that moment.
Absolutely, I agree. I get distracted very easily.
Coming from Greeks, because I'm Greek. Like back in Greece, if you went on vacation, you'd see all the cafes and everything filled with people drinking coffee and just having conversations. They love talking, you know?
Yeah, I'd go through a full pot.
So right now, I snap my finger. We're in Greece, having a little coffee. It's summertime by the islands. That's I'm fantasizing. That's where I'd be right now.
Man, I need to get away. Okay, we really need to change the subject. I need.
Well, you got the Mediterranean look anyway, so you know what I mean. Like
I did. Well, I'm 100% Italian.
Italian, 100%.
Yeah, 100% Italian.
I'm 100%.
First generation.
So, have you been there on vacation or?
Yeah, when I was 3. I really don't have much memory.
You know what they say about Greeks and Italians? They, if you go to Greece and somebody's Italian, they go una razza, una faccia. One race, one face. They all say.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of things, but I have heard that quite a few times. Well, so let's talk about your latest album that you guys are in the process of releasing one single at a time.
Yeah, No Time to Waste. We already got the title track out as a single, and right now, December 30th, the second single's coming out called Transform and Disrupt. Yeah. And it's heavy. It's real fast and heavy, and it's got the message almost like Pink Floyd's "We Don't Need No Education." You know, it's the video's real cool. It's like a classroom, and it shows the kids that are brainwashed looking towards the blackboard, reading the whatever. The lyrics are kind of like the meaning, you know, like they're being brainwashed by what is said. And there's one kid that's turning around facing the other way. All the other kids have barcodes in their back and stuff like that. So actually, the video's a real cool concept, and our manager came up with some of the treatment for it, and pretty good idea because the lyrics is the chorus goes, pull up a chair, pay attention, mystery school is now in session. That's meaning basically like we were talking earlier, question what you hear. You know what I mean? Don't be indoctrinated just from school, how they teach you what they want you to know. Go outside there. If the teacher's even saying something, question them. They're not the authority. They're getting their, what I mean? Just be a person that questions things and goes after injustice,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you, okay, well, the first single that's out right now is No Time to Waste. And then you got Transform Disrupts that's coming out. So what was the inspiration with this album?
This album has got, well, the second album that came out in 2019 called There Is Something Wrong. That's a concept record about like, it's literally, like a concept album where it's got effects in it, sounds and stuff, speeches and information, as interludes and stuff. And that gave that concept was about waking up, awakening and thinking, what's going on here? Why is this like this? And it started giving answers, to the problems. But this is the full answers. This is like more the positive side. Like a song that's called We Can Do This Together is like saying us, the so-called 99%, how we're being torn apart and they're blaming everything, pollution on us and everything when it's they do it. Like even though the climate change, the global warming, it's all blamed on us purposely. But us together, they don't want us to know once we're all together, all people, loving your neighbor, just being good people. That is a weapon in itself. You don't need to go out and rebel and have violence and destruction. You just got to know who's doing it and not partake in it. Like even elections, man, the right wing, left wing. Come on, a two-party system when we know they're all the same. Behind closed doors they work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the whole thing of the political party. I mean, from day one it was made to have one against another, and that and then have a middleman somewhere in the middle. But it's always left versus right. They taught from day one. They had us divided. That's all it's set up. Because in the end, they're still talking behind those, behind our backs. That's why I've always been independent. I'm like, I can't really pick who I choose. Does not mean I'm Democrat or Republican. It just means that's my best choice of my personal opinion.
And they label themselves as they're a Democrat and saying, yeah, I'm you're you, but yeah, I voted for that. It's almost like it takes over as your identity, like you know what I mean. And that's the way they want it, like you said. And
what's bad is when a lot of people, they're perfectly good friendships, great friendships for 30, 40 years got ripped apart in the last 10 years over elections. Yeah. It's like, really? Because of difference in opinion? Grow up.
And that
grow up.
Yeah. Yeah. And believe it or not, like people got to know that when Trump was there, he did the best job at dividing people because I never seen the division where families, like you said, stop talking to each other. Like remember when we were growing up, people didn't even pay attention to that much, about like who became president. It wasn't like they die for it, fuck you. We when I was in high school, nobody was talking about stuff like that, So right now they got it to that point because there's an agenda for real. And the agenda that was talked about on the first, There Is Something Wrong album is called Agenda 2030. And it's and I hate saying the word, it is part of the New World Order stuff. It's all about that. Because right now they're exposing everything. Because even if you go on the UN's website, it talks about sustainable development, smart cities. It has plans drawn up of everybody living in a smart city with cars that aren't drivable. And even right now in Europe, they're starting to pass a shutdown for environmental reasons. Like they closed in Oxford, they closed down the city for the pollution or the global warming. So they're going to, every year that's going by, it's going to get closer and closer to becoming full on Agenda 30,
Right. Yeah. And then this shit with the moon, with them sending another rocket up there because they want to begin mankind up on the moon, and they want to have sustainable life up there within the next 20 years. And all of a sudden you tell me after 50 years, we're going to go to the moon after 50 years. The hell were you doing? People really think they weren't doing anything. Some shit was going down behind closed doors, underground, wherever the fuck you can't see it. But, realistically, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're going to the moon. And in the next 20 years, we're going to have, mankind living on the moon. Wait, what? What did you miss? People are excited about this. I'm like, no, what you need to ask is what the fuck has been going on for the last 50 years where all of a sudden this pops up and in 20 years we're going to be able to sustain life on the moon. But people are like, no, it's really cool. I'm like, no, you need to find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And first of all,
they knew some shit 50 years ago and we're up to some, that doesn't make us a conspiracy theorist. That makes us seeing shit for what it is. There's things that are not being said. Read between those lines.
Well, look at the reason they gave, because I was wondering at one point, they went to the moon back in '69, right? And I remember like being it might, whatever, years ago, going, why haven't they gone back? And then, and NASA gave an answer. There's the video out there where they said they haven't gone back to the moon because they lost the technology. I mean, anybody can find that on YouTube. It's out there.
And we believe you. We really do.
Yeah, we lost the technology. Would you have it in like a drawer and you lost a piece of paper? I mean, how is that possible? And going to the Mars. How about that thing? They're talking about going to Mars. And not only that, the guy that started NASA back in the days, von Braun, he was one of the Nazi guys. That they, after the World War, they all went to, the scientists and everything. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, von Braun. Just look up, and that is. I mean, that's not, you can find that in Wikipedia that he's out as identified as that, but it wasn't like that years ago. You didn't know that, you know what I mean? It wasn't, they're exposing everything now slowly, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Because it's at that 50, what is it, 50 year, I think it's a 50-year mark. It's supposed to wait 50 years or 75 years, depending on what the information is and who's involved in it. Yeah. It always makes a difference, It's a lot of things that we don't even think about it now. It's like, imagine what we don't know now that we're going to find out about when our kids are having kids. It's like there's this.
And Fran, the funny thing is, when I started really researching into what's going on, I wasn't going in going, I want the conspiracy guys to be right. I didn't care. I just wanted to see what was really going on. And after a while, I go, man, why does the official story never make sense? Like Magic Bullet with Kennedy, or like even Epstein, he dies in all those weird things where he gets killed in jail. I mean, everything officially they say, it doesn't make sense, man. Even with 9/11, when they found passports of the terrorists or whatever in the Rumble falling down from the building, or one guy left one in a bar in Florida. I mean, common sense never plays a role in their reasons for why things happen. And then we find out the whole war of Vietnam that killed 70,000 Americans, let alone a million Vietnamese, was started. It was one of the top 20 conspiracies that are true now, with the fake bombing of the ship just to get them into war. I forgot the name right now because obviously people forget when they're put under pressure things they never forget, which annoys me.
My dad would know this answer. My dad was in Vietnam. He was about. So he would be like, "I'll tell you everything." He's not one of those that keep quiet. He will tell you details of some shit where I'm like.
Yeah, it's the bombing of the name of the the operation was they bombed a ship, and they said it happened and that was the reason to get the American public behind the war in Vietnam. Because just like when Muhammad Ali didn't want to go to the war, just like any soldier would have thought.
Some nasty shit. There's a lot of things that we would never imagine that they witness. That they see. So, and it's not just government officials. I'm talking just like war. On the fucking battleground, you've seen some, it's worse than you can ever imagine unless you're part of it,
And plus, if you think about it, the wars that have started, it wasn't like a real enemy that's breaking into your house and you kill them. It's really the politicians created them. It's not like even World War II or anything. It's not like the people of Germany started thinking on their own, let's invade the world. They had to get brainwashed into it. Or just like the people that went to Vietnam, when they were killing the Vietnamese there, they weren't enemies. So imagine, when you kill a person, an innocent person, and they didn't do nothing to that could give you PTSD on its own. I mean, because it eats their.
That's a mind fuck. It's a mind fuck. It's a very big one, and it's not one you can just get over. No, that shit's embedded. It's embedded, and you're gonna carry that. You might be able to tuck it back, but it will always be there. And all you gotta do is have one little thing happen that might trigger it, and you fucking freak out.
And think of how different it would be if it was a real enemy that was coming to kill you. You wouldn't have that mind because you go, if I didn't kill him, he would have killed me and my family. It's the opposite of that. So that mind fuck is devastating for people. I think that's a big part of the PTSD. They don't want to say that because who'd want to sign up as a soldier? Well, you kind of get it because you kill innocent people, because you do. Hey, plus, look at even someone like Bill Gates buying up all the farmland. I was just thinking, I said earlier about eating healthy, and all the Monsanto stuff and food. It's almost like everything's just bad for you. I mean, we're getting the pollute, and the rays that are coming through us, like all the invisible rays that are everywhere, and that's why so many cancers and everything. It's almost hard to live healthy. It's almost like
it is. You know what? There's a lot of people who live healthy. That's I can name a few people. I have a friend who was just recently, they found a spot on his lung, maybe a second, and all kinds of things are going on. He's only 53 years old. He's in great shape, Great shape, excellent shape. Never drank, never had a drink. Well, okay, once he did. I forced him. That was me. I'm owning that one. I convinced him to do one, and he never did it again. He hated me, but he never had a cigarette. Never did anything, clean as a whistle. And now he's looking at some shit, and that's like, it's amazing to think. You eat healthy, you do everything you're supposed to do right,
That's the worst.
and die young anyway.
Poor guy.
It's like, and then you see people with nasty ass habits, been smoking 50, 60 years, a mass drug addiction majority of their life, and they're still going at 80 years old, killing it,
Yeah, right. That's right there. See, that's crazy. You live your whole life, and the poor guy dies at age, and he was living no addiction, nothing that he was doing that he knew, hey, the cigarette's going to kill me or whatever, and he gets a spot on his lungs. Man, that I feel sorry for.
Yeah.
Because at least if a smoker is, I'm smoking a spliff here because I try to make justice.
I smoke too. You know what? I will never be a total hypocrite. It's just I do call out irony, and I'll call myself out too. If I throw myself under the bus, I do it a lot. Yeah, but I smoke too. And I'm asthmatic. I have bronchitis. I can go down the list. I have stage 1 COPD, and it hasn't changed in 3 years. I've been smoking since I was 11 years old, and I had a full body scan 2 months ago. The doctors were like, "You're completely cancer free." I'm like, "Really?" Oh, I'm thinking how much all the Jägermeister I drank, all the Fireball. I'm thinking all this shit that I've done to my body, and I'm like, and he goes, "Your lungs are black as night," and he goes, "But you're strong and healthy." And I'm like, "Ew."
Man, that must be. See, I haven't done that. I'd love to do that because I drink a lot too. Like Jameson shots, of tons of or Jägermeister too. I remember loving.
I'm a Jaeger fanatic.
Yeah, and then I stopped drinking that now. I like if I do a shot, it'd be Jameson because Jaeger. It got to the point we drank so much of it in the '80s, man. It was a big drink to drink, And once you throw up, one bad time, it's kind of hard to go back to something you threw up on. You know what I mean?
And I like that sweetness. I like that.
Well, it burned. I remember it just goes down.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the music, man. You and I distract very easily. We can talk like forever, dude. This is great.
Well, Italian.
You what?
A Greek and Italian, yeah.
I know, right? And my hands are always moving.
Yeah, we love talking. I mean, great conversation's cool though, man. I mean, it's better than
we can talk. We can seriously talk. You and I can definitely have some conversations. I would love to do that. So now you got your the second single's coming out December 30th. And you actually just recently you had a show for the first time in 4 years. You hit the stage again. It was for my partner, Rebel Radio, right?
Yeah, that's right. It was 4 years. Oh my God, time flies. Till you just said it, I didn't think about it. Wow. And I feel like we reunited. We were broken up for 20 years. And I'm thinking, since then, the last show we did was 4 years. Man, time's going by way too fast, isn't it? No time to waste. Hey, just like the album says, no time to waste.
Yeah. I didn't feel to hit that stage again and grab that mic.
Yeah, it felt good. It was a really good show because it's one of those nights where everything just was smooth,
Yeah, that's beautiful when that happens. When it runs beautifully for everybody, the sound's in check, everything's in check, everyone's getting along.
The owner of the bar, Livewire, Dave. He's just a super cool guy. Well, he's always been I met him like back hanging out in Wicker Park when he just moved here, and I'm just happy. He's got it's kind of in my neighborhood, and it's in that neighborhood, and it didn't fall to the wayside through that. I don't know, when everything was closed for a while. You know how a lot of small businesses, they said 60% were gone. I'm glad it survived, and and it's just a cool place. Everybody in Chicago should support places like that. Livewire, absolutely. And then Rebel Radio, another one. That guy Scott has been doing that. He's been promoting metal and helping bands and getting.
He's been doing it almost 30 years. Yeah,
he's never stopped. I mean, that's amazing. Man.
No one's mentioned that. I love the man. He's an amazing man. He's a great mentor and influence.
He's just a cool guy. You know what I mean?
It blew my mind when we became partners. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
never would have thought that. It's like I've been listening to this guy for years. Never would have thought that I'd be working with him.
Yeah, I remember
so it's cool.
Yeah, how many years ago you said? I remember back in when
he's been around 28 years. Rebel Radio just celebrated their 28th birthday.
Yeah, because they were around when we broke up and we were gone for 20 years and it never stopped while we were gone. Yeah, and I remember even back in the day going out far out of the burbs in some place that wasn't like out of the country to do an interview where they were originally at. And he always kept it going, man. He just never gave up.
And he had some children recently. He adopted the Savage Ladies of Metal and Graveside Chicago. It was always just him. And then the last few years, Graveside Chicago happened, Savage Ladies happened. We're all from the same area. We already knew each other, from being involved in the music scene for so many years. And it was just like, boom, all three of us right there in one house.
No,
and I was like, oh, Scott had kids.
See, that's like getting together. No division, you know what I mean? And
And we with the three of us, we cover all different angles, and that's what's awesome. Scott's got that old school thrash, hardcore shit, Gravesites, the death metal, the goth, the heavier shit, and I cover everything from the basic punk rock to all metals. I'm the one that covers everything, but it's so well diverse with the three of us being right here in Chicago together. So we make an amazing team, I think, and we're just doing more and more together.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. And Chicago's always been a city that had a lot of bands, a lot of good music.
Oh,
yeah, and it's great when they got people that like care about the band. They want to get the word out and want to like promote stuff like that.
Right.
But unfortunately, I work at UPS at O'Hare on weeknights, and the thing I hate about my hours, I start at 8 at night, and I work till past midnight, and I get to miss a lot of weekday shows. A lot of stuff that come at weekdays.
I do too, and I feel bad. It's like, dude, I work nights. I get paid nightly, and weekends are the best money. I don't purposely miss shows. I want to go to them, but then it's just like, dude, I got this bill coming up. Am I going to spend 100 or make 300?
Yeah, I know, and it's tough because I love going to the shows, and then besides these years, I've been working at UPS. This era of my life, like all my 20s and 30s, and I would never miss anything. You know what I mean? So it feels weird, like something's coming. I can't miss it. I got to miss it.
Yeah.
Because those are the worst.
Now we're getting old. Now we're getting older. It's like priorities.
Yeah. Like you can't get fired because of a concert. I lost my job because I went to some show on Wednesday night. But I don't have kids, so at least if I got fired, I'd be the one to get hungry. You know what I mean? Like it makes it harder. I'm saying when you got a family, and I feel like the other guys in my band. Once you have one couple, they're all married, but one of them doesn't have kids. But our bass player's got 3 kids, and it's just priorities just get weird, because I never thought I'd put something aside musically for as an adult. You always thought you wouldn't miss a concert no matter what. That's how they were to me. It was almost the most important thing, man. Going to a concert. I've been to over 800. I write them down on Facebook. If you go to my page,
I couldn't even list a fraction of what I've been to.
That's the only list
too many. It's a blur.
I'm glad I did it because I would have never remembered a lot of them. And literally, I got on an album on my Facebook page. I got them all written down, like the old paper. I just took photos of the papers. The first one was Queen, 1980, first concert.
Wow.
At Rosemont.
It was a year after I was born.
Yeah, 1980. Well, I was like 12, 11 years old or something, and my mom and dad took us, and we didn't want them to. We didn't want them with, So we started. Queen's got to be something that's not crazy. And the guys behind us were doing cocaine the whole time. I didn't even know what it was, and I was. They kind of ruined the experience because I go, if they turn around and see people snorting something, they're gonna go. We're not letting them go alone. And then the next concert we went to was REO Speedwagon. A joint was passing down the aisle. Our aisle, and it kept coming closer, till I turned my back like this, and the guy tapped me, and I remember a hand going. I go, no, and my parents were, on this side, they didn't see it. I go, man, the first 2 concerts, if they seen that, the third one was Ozzy Osbourne, and we went alone. Well, they dropped us off. If they seen that, we would have been doomed. So they kind of ruined the experience. I was like sweating the whole time. Like, oh my god.
You know what? And I used to get yelled at by parents at concerts. I'll call myself out because I'd smoke a bowl or smoke a joint right there, and I'd be like, how concerts roll. You know what goes on here. You bring your child here, you're exposing them. It has nothing to do with me. I'm still gonna do me. I'm not changing my habits because you're bringing your. A lot of parents feel that way. So when you bring in your kid there.
That's funny you said
your
that.
kid's going to see some shit.
The last concert I went to, I don't know, maybe AC/DC at a couple of recent concerts. When I smoke, you can tell the people don't like it around you anymore now,
Right. Everyone's allergic to it now.
Well, the same speech you just gave, I feel like, man, you got to smoke weed. It's like the smell in the air kind of makes the concert experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt the same way back then. The parents should have never taken us. They should have let us go alone. But the 4th concert was Van Halen at the amphitheater, and that was a place down on the Halsted, in the ghetto, real bad neighborhood. And my mom dropped us off at noon, and picked us up at midnight, and we were kids. Imagine leaving your kids now on the south side of Chicago.
Yeah, no.
It would never happen. We were little kids.
It wouldn't go too well. You know, if you were out at 8 o'clock still,
Yeah.
it'd be a hell of a lot different now than it was
With
back
no
then.
cell phones. So for 12 hours,
Yeah.
she left the kids on the south side. And I mean, nothing happened, but I mean, think about it, how dangerous that would be. But I loved that it was like that. You know what I mean? Well, we were Generation X.
Yeah, it was a lot different growing up as kids in the 80s and 90s. A lot different, very different.
Well, they
but I mean, we were still all punks. It wasn't just to this level, to where it's at now. You know, and then of course the next generation, which we created, and I'm blaming us for all these liberals that are just way out of their damn mind, or just like all these younger kids where they're a lot soft. It's like, how the hell did we screw that one up?
Yeah, soft, really soft.
We were so adamant on being out there and getting our voices heard. Fuck you, this is who we are. This and that. You know, it was like the hippie generation times asshole basically. And then we have a next generation of kids where it's just like, it's like, dude, I want to pet you like you're a puppy. I want to grab you and be like, kid, wake up.
I know, right?
Now you look at your kid the wrong way. Now it's child abuse. No, it's not. It's parental discipline.
Yeah, no. See, that's why everything. There's a song on the new album also called "Up Is Down." How everything's inverted. You know, like how that it really wasn't if a dad slapped a kid that was doing something bad. That's not really child abuse. That's like teaching them, right?
Yeah, that's parental discipline. There's nothing wrong with cracking your kid.
Yeah, and back then it was a good dad would just slap you. He wouldn't hurt you. He wouldn't like slap you and punch you. Yeah. Just a slap.
Right, but if it's like every day, no, that's a problem. You know, if it's I'm saying like the once in a while thing, kids are gonna do stupid shit all the time. But you know what? So are we, and our kids are gonna see us do that too.
Well, I'll tell you what. My dad wasn't strict, and I didn't feel like he'd slap me and stuff. Man, would I be? I did a lot of stupid shit, and I had a strict dad. If I didn't have a strict dad, man, who knows what I would have done? You know,
right.
Like I grew up in a neighborhood where, you know, well, I was a boy, but I did some crazy shit. You know, like just for one example is the brown line that goes down through Albany Park and it goes down to the street. You know, it's in the alleys.
Yeah.
We wanted to break a bunch of rocks and stuff like that, so we set up on the tracks like bricks and sticks and everything, and we didn't know when it hit it derailed the train. So, I mean, nobody got hurt because it was on the ground, you know. But people were in it. So I remember the whole neighborhood was shut down, you know, cops everywhere, but we got away. So stuff like that, you know, but it wasn't to hurt anybody. We just wanted everything to break, you know. I
liked setting things on fire.
Yeah, so did I. But
yeah, there was a couple of forest preserves, one in Itasca back in the late 80s. I set on fire. They're gone. It's gone now. It's like a mini forest. I'm not going to say where, but
I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, a couple of I loved setting things on fire. I don't know why. I just loved it.
I mean, I can't believe you just said that because I wasn't going to say it. Like a lot of my toys, you know, I had a plastic garage, you know, like those plastic, you know, where it's a garage thing. I remember melting that, setting it on fire. But I used to go to this one area of we used to live in an apartment building, like down by the basement where it was a corner, where it was all cement. And I used to like burning a lot of things.
Yeah.
But just
you know how when you get junk mail and you want to scribble out your address and your name if you're gonna like throw it out with like mail you don't need. You want to hide your information, yada, yada, or your credit card information. People sit there and scribble it. And I'm like, just give it to me. I'll take it outside. I tell instead of going piece by piece, paper by paper, letter by letter, that's going to take a long ass time unless you do it every day. I just grab the bitch, throw it in the barbecue, torch that son of a bitch.
That's funny because a lot of people, not that I burn those, but I always make sure I rip them in a lot of little pieces, that stuff. But a lot of people I know just toss the whole thing in there with their.
It'd be a lot quicker. Just burn it.
You know, I've been burning because I got a real good lighter, a torch lighter, like or anything like that. Like if when you have long hair and stuff, you know how there's hair, you know, like you'll see hair on the ground. For some reason, I just like burn it a lot of times.
Yeah, I used to pull out chunks when I was a kid just to watch. Yeah.
Well, I forgot.
Anyway, we're going left again. We only got so much more time. So let's get a little bit more information out. So you guys are back now after 4 years, finally hitting the stage. What do you got coming up? Besides, of course, the album. When is let's go to that one. Do you have an ETA on the actual album release?
Yeah, the album's going to come out in March.
Okay.
And everything's done. You know, we got the cover. There's one cover song on there, John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance.
Nice. Yes.
We already released that as a video and everything, but this is a remix.
It's remastered, right?
Huh?
Is it remastered?
Yeah. And also the and it sucks. The video that came out there's over 1 million views on it, but on the vocals they had a reverb effect on there that I hated, and I didn't want it on there. So on this one they got rid of it, so now it's dry. You know what I mean? The way I wanted it. And the reason we did that cover is because the message. You know what I mean? Because when I was young, I was like, why is John Lennon protesting laying in bed? What kind of protest is that? Like, what does that mean? That's stupid. But then when I heard an explanation of it. He says, there's nothing I can do. I can't stop wars. He goes, I just want people to know that they could together, maybe they could stop it. You know, whatever his message was made more sense than him just sitting in bed, having reporters question him, give peace a chance. And it's the only cover we'll ever do. So it fit the theme. And it's coming out, like I said, in March, and it'll be everywhere, you know, like on all the Spotify's and all. And there's going to be hard copy CDs and everything too.
How many songs are going to be on it?
10.
10. Okay.
Yeah, we picked 10 because the classic albums, like 10, about a half hour long, you know, like kind of like the length of all the classic albums. You know, it seems like even Rain and Blood, Van Halen albums, Black Sabbath albums, they were like about 30 minutes, you know?
Yeah. Side A and side B.
Yeah. Yeah. There's going to be that because there's going to be vinyl too.
Yeah.
The cover's
awesome.
Cool. The cover artwork's great, you know? It
right.
shows.
Yeah. No, it looks really cool. Yeah. So do you have any shows coming up or any fest planned on for 2023? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, we're going to set up a show in March, but we also want to go like there was a festival down in South America that we might go play, but we're going to wait. Like right now, I think our manager wants to set up shows, but we told him we don't want to do it. We're not doing a tour in a van where we're playing anywhere. You know what I mean? Because we're older. You know. And we can't
stay in the Midwest, stay local.
Well, we'll go anywhere in the world, but we won't do it as a tour, you know? Like
okay, I get it.
Yeah, like because nowadays, through the numbers through Spotify or all those things, you can tell where the song's like popular and what you're doing. So anywhere, like we're ready to play anywhere, but just not a grueling tour where it wears us out and then it breaks you up or something like that, you know?
Right. I get that. Yeah. You just do it for the 1 or 2 shows and go back home.
Yeah, and we'll even do a week of them. It's just you can't be doing months on the road when you're the same.
Yeah, some of them are 2, 3, 4 months. You know, yeah, it's.
But I feel
I've never done it, but I can imagine.
Well, we did a tour with Mother God Movie Star across America, where it was like one of those. But when you're a younger band, and after that we did regional tour. You know, we did like Detroit, Chicago, like 4 cities in a row. But when you're young, though, it could be fun, though. Like if you're all like 19-year-olds and you tour in a van together for months, you know, that age, there's a lot of experiences that might be fun to reflect on back later in life, you know. But we're also gonna we really want to play Europe a lot, though, you know. But now, after the pandemic, what all the other bands are saying, some of them cancel tours like Anthem. It's gotten so expensive to go out there and play, you know. So that's the only thing that's depressing because I really want to play in Greece, you know, and we already played in Germany. We want to go play in England and all those places because the band also is known, we got known in the underground through tape trading back in the day, but a lot of it was outside of the U.S. It was like America was strong, but Europe was like we were getting mail all the time. So there was always more like Europe's great, you know. I mean, we want to go play there.
Yeah, Europe's really good with American music, especially like England. Yeah, you know, they're all over American metal. They're all over that shit, man.
And the magazines
they're really big fans of our music, of the music that that is produced from here. And Europe's really big on it.
And their magazines back in the day were amazing. Like the writers were really good at writing. Like you really got into reading the articles on a band. Like here, like Circus Magazine or whatever Hit Parade or everything. It seemed like it was just press releases, generic questions. But the writers in Europe really dug deep with a band, and like they wouldn't just if they go to review a show, they would talk about their journey there. You know, they made it like a story, and and it's those magazines, all the British magazines that kind of like noticed our demos back in the day and got the band known in the underground, you know.
Right.
Yeah, especially Metal Forces. They picked us as they had a vinyl for the best bands of the year back then. And my favorite magazine, and I used to love just reading it. And right when we put the band together and we made a demo in 1987, put it out, they actually picked it as one of the best demos of the year and everything. So right away, I got a fond place in my heart for all the British metal press, from back then,
Right.
But now then again, I don't even know how many people read the magazines. I mean, everybody sees.
Everything is all magazines are pretty much online now. They're all video magazines.
So
I mean, magazines do still exist, but I really don't know. Some people might use it.
Yeah, I have
no to go to the bathroom anymore. Everyone just brings their phone with them to the bathroom.
I got this one.
Okay,
that's real. And but the reason is here. This is the album cover, and here's an ad for it.
That's badass. Yeah. Yep, I see it. Yeah, with the eyeball. Yeah, that's killer. So what's the inspiration for the actual design?
Yeah, well, and see the city's inverted. It's upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the like from even the back of the dollar bill. It's really the all-seeing eye, and it's how it's inverted everything. And we're at a point now.
It's badass.
Yeah, but we're at a point now that there's no time to waste. Either realize what's going on now, or you're. I feel like also, I don't really want to get too deep into what's in it, but I feel like we're here to prove if our soul's good enough to go to the next level. You know what I mean? And I think it's almost like a testing ground to graduate to it. You have to be good. You can't basically almost legit. See, it almost sounds, and it's not religious. It's just, I wasn't religious and I'm not religious, but when I really started researching the truth, I know the people who run the world are satanic. Even Bohemian Grove, when they, once a year, all the elite men of the world meet out by San Francisco, Bohemian Grove, and they have this big thing in the woods, and they wear black gowns, and Horus is the effigy on stage, the Egyptian satanic god. And the first thing they do there, they have a ceremony called cremation of care, because they got all the burden of the world, the 99% on their shoulders. They control the world. And right there, why are you wearing black gowns? Why are you in the woods? And why are you worshiping a satanic statue? You know what I mean? And so I go, why are they so into Satan? So I go, there must be a God. They can't be into Satan. And they hoard the secrets, the people who run the world, the 1%, the bloodlines, the people who run the Federal Reserve, because it's not federal. And it's six families that run it. Those people, they're all like into all the satanic things. Even you can tell by all the ceremonies they do are anyways, I'm not going to go on because I want people to figure it out on their own if they can.
There'll be a lot of opinions on that conversation.
Yeah.
So you know what? You and I could talk forever, but we do got to talk after this. But Charlie, I am going to go ahead and cut this short, but I got a couple more questions real quick. If people wanted to check you out, on what platforms can they find you?
All of them, Instagram, Facebook, all of them.
Yeah. And there would probably be 5 more by next month. The way this shit's being made.
Twitter, and you could get the album on everything, on Spotify, Apple Music. Mm-hmm. The reason I don't know all the names because I really don't pay attention to it. Because I'm kind of old school.
You get it. Now you have somebody else do it for you. It saves you the headache too. Yeah, it's really cool. So, and what about merch? If they wanted to buy some merch and see what you got, where can they go?
On the Facebook page. On the information, there's the website, and it's really cool looking, and it's got a merch store. It's got everything, t-shirts, the real cool shirts with the symbol we have. We call it Symboli, the piece of the 3 symbols together, black and white shirts like that. The last album cover, all the merchandise is there. Not for the new album yet, but all the other stuff.
And when can we expect some merch for the album?
Soon,
around the same time.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's funny, for some reason on Instagram. A lot of people take pictures out, and they don't do it on Facebook with shirts, and they put them on. So if anybody wants to see what they look like, the Aftermath Instagram page, there's a lot of people wearing the shirts, so they could see which ones they like.
Right. That's cool. So you have different options, different styles. It's not all just crew neck, which I cut every single
really
one.
Cool styles. They got some really cool girl styles too with the peace sign. There's a piece of Chan shirt. There's a lot of merchandise. But
that's cool.
I think it looks cool with the symbol, on black and white. I was looking around if I had it here, but
Right. It's all good. Again, Charlie from Aftermath in Chicago. If you guys don't know who Aftermath is, and you're part of the thrash scene, man, you are outdated. Get caught up with these guys. They are back after 4 years of being on hiatus, and they already killed it on the stage just recently. And I missed it because I miss everything. I work nights, but
my problem too.
Definitely stay up. You and I are going to talk, and I would love to know when the next show is. Just, throw me like all other bands. I do basic promotions. Send me those links. Send me the flyers. I'll be happy to help get it out there.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, after you do a show and it's so much fun and it was a good first show returning, you just want to do another one the next day so bad. That's when you want to be on tour right now. That's why I'm going to call our manager. I go, book it now, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And after 3 days, you're like, you feel like you just kicked your own ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the fun. It's the thing that's the most. It's the most fun. That's why you want to kind of get in a band when you're little, anyways. You want to just like. Yeah, recording's great, right? But live in front of people, like the energy and everything, that's just the best part of the whole thing,
Yeah, it feeds that fire. It can be a beautiful thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. Yeah. Again, Charlie, thank you so much, man, for being here and making the time to be with me at a special 6 p.m. in the evening time frame. Definitely, I'd like to talk to you after the show, too, if we can make that happen. And everyone else, thank you. And yes, Savage Ladies are officially finally back.
Savage Ladies rule.
That issue. We are back doing the interviews every Sunday. All right. Mad love and respect. And we'll see everybody next week.